right, so we've got this question here. It says in 2024, Lusaka province conducted its labor force survey and provided the following data. Total population aged 15 years and above, 1.2 million. Labor force, 72,000. Employed, 600,000. Informally employed, 150,000. So they want us to calculate the labor force participation rate, the unemployment rate, the employment to population ratio, and the informal employment rate. All right. So we'll start with the labor force participation rate. So the labor force, this consists of the employed and the unemployed. So the labor force participation rate is just going to tell us out of the adult population, what percent is the labor force. Okay. And this is how we get the labor force participation rate. Labor force participation rate, LFPR. It's the labor force over the adult population. In this case here, this total population aged 15 years and above. All right, so our labor force is 720,000 divided by adult population is 1.2 million times 100%. So 720,000 divided by 1.2 million, you get 0.6. 0.6 times 100%. That is 60%. Okay. So out of this 1,200,000 people, 60% form part of the labor force, which is 720,000. Right. So for a nation, a higher labor force participation rate, the better. Okay. Means there's more people, there's a bigger workforce. Okay. And with labor economics and in a nation generally, you want a sizable workforce so that they can go in the industries, implement their skills so that the nation can be productive. Any questions before I go to the unemployment rate? Okay, so now the unemployment rate. Okay, basically, we're going to find out of the labor force, how many are unemployed. Okay, out of the labor force, how many are unemployed? So the unemployment rate is the unemployed divided by the labor force times 100%. Now, in our information here, we've just been given the labor force and the number of employed people. And as I told you, the labor force consists of the unemployed and the employed. Okay, so to get our unemployed, okay, the unemployed is basically just your labor force minus the employed. Labor force minus employed. So our labor force is 720,000. The employed are 600,000. So 720,000 minus 600,000 You got 120,000 unemployed people. All right. So these 120,000, want to find out what percentage is it representing out of the labor force, basically. Okay. So we're going to say 120,000 divided by 720,000 times 100%. Okay, so 120,000 divided by 720, what do we get? Get my calculator. Let's see. That is 0.166 times 100%. So 16.6%. Okay. This is a high unemployment rate. Okay, 16%. Usually in unemployment nations, you want it at least below 10%, then you're doing well. But if you're like here at 16.6%, this is not a good thing. Any questions? Okay, now we go to the employment to population ratio. Okay, this one basically out of the adult population, how many are what percentage are employed? Okay, so you can express it as a ratio 1 to something, or you can also express it as a percentage. Right, so employment to population ratio. All right, so basically it's the employed divided by the adult population times 100%. So the employed 600,000. The adult population 1.2 million. So 600,000 divided by 1.2 million, that is 0.5 times 100%. 0.5 times 100%, that gives us 50%. All right. So basically, the way we can interpret this, out of the adult population, 50% are employed. Okay, which is a can also be a good indicator because at least half of the population is employed. But as I said, with employment, you want the more people who are employed, the better for a nation. Okay, the better for the nation. Then finally, we have to find the informal employment rate. Okay, so here for the informal employment rate is just the informally employed divided by number of employed people times 100%. Been told the informally employed constitute 150,000. And the employed 600,000 times 100%. Okay, so 150,000 divided by 600,000, that's 0.25 times 100%. That gives you 25%, right? So out of the 600,000 employed people, 25% are informally employed, okay, which is this 150,000. Yes. Any questions so far?